eBay is laying off over 1,000 employees, nearly 10% of their entire workforce. Does this mean the end of eBay, a decline, or is it something else? And what does it mean for you as a seller? Yeah, welcome back into the channel, everybody. That's the breaking news today. I'm sure you've seen it in Facebook groups or social media by the time I post this video this afternoon that eBay has laid off over 1,000 employees. They have like 11,000 and change employees, so it's going to be like 9.5%. And inevitably, I'm going to get the comments that this is the end of eBay. This is the downfall of eBay. The sky is falling, etc., etc. But is this true? And what does it mean for sellers like me and you and everybody else? So let me start by saying this is not abnormal for the beginning of the year. If you remember last year, people like Amazon and Facebook, Meta, all that stuff, Google, were laying off people like crazy. I believe in January it was like 20 or 30,000 tech layoffs at the beginning of last year, 23. This year already, we had Amazon, MGM Studios, and their Twitch streaming platform lay off over 1,000 people. Facebook laid off like 500. Now eBay, 1,000. So we're already at 2,500. There's probably some others. We might be in the 3,000-4,000 range. Not as bad as last year, but still people getting laid off. And it's because during COVID, remember, during 2020 and 2021, virtual jobs and hiring and all this stuff blossomed. It blew up because sales were through the roof because everybody was at home shopping. Nobody was out in town and doing all this stuff. Well, now that's happening and companies just don't have as much room and as much need for all these people. And so they cut that cost. It's not necessarily because they're broke or because they need to cut costs. Some of it is cost cutting, obviously, that makes sense. But some of it is just simply not a need for all these employees that they hired. And so over the course of the last 2 years, 3 years, they've realized like, hey, we don't need these people anymore. Unfortunately, you have to go. And that's sort of the story and the way that it works. So that's not out of the norm, right? And we have all these layoffs and we see it all in the same time. They do it after the first of the year. I don't know why they do that. Somebody might be able to tell me in the comments why they choose to wait till the first of the year. They don't want to fire people during the holidays, maybe. That could be it. But yeah, so that's number one. Number two is the economy sucks. Whether you want to believe it or not, no matter who you voted for, I don't care about your politics. The economy is not great in hindsight, especially compared to all that years ago, 3-4 years ago. We printed a lot of money during COVID. There were COVID checks and stimulus and PPPs and loans and EIDLs and all this stuff, a lot of money. It caused natural inflation. You can't argue the inflation. I mean, interest rates are crazy. Car interest rates, for one, this car is at 3.49%. My truck's at 4.5%. Right now, with the same credit score, I actually ran a car not that long ago. Kate's car's coming up, and they were doing 7%. That's double this car in just 2 years. I've had this car for 2 years. So, that's crazy with high 700s credit score. House interest rates. This house is 2.875%, and people moving into my neighborhood right now with 800 credit scores, 820s, same kind of financial situation as me, people making $150,000, $200,000 a year, little to no debt, good credit, all this stuff, getting 7% interest rate. So that's crazy. 2.5 times my interest rate. That's a difference of $1,000 a month in interest rates. Groceries, you go to the grocery store for 2 bags. I did it yesterday. Toilet paper, dishwashing soap, laundry detergent, and a few other things. $68, I think it was, $70, something like that. Everything costs more money. Gas has actually come down to a reasonable price right now. Not great, like $3.50 I think I paid for premium in this. I think regular was like $3.19, so not terrible, but could be better. It was better a few years back. Anyways, everything is more expensive, which means people are spending less. They have less money. And when they spend less on platforms like Amazon and eBay, there's not as much sales, not as much profit, and those platforms want to lower their costs. They don't want to invest as much money. eBay also announced, in addition to these layoffs, that they are cutting contracts with some outside companies. That means saving money as well. It means services they may not necessarily need that they wanted. It was a luxury. They liked having it. For example, if you have a house cleaner, somebody that cleans your house, and you pay them to come twice a month, maybe $150, that's $300 a month, all of a sudden things get a little tight. You might say, hey, you know what? We don't need somebody to clean my house for $300 a month. I'll clean my house for $300 a month. I don't actually pay someone to clean my house. I clean it myself. But some of you do. I know that. I've seen it in comments before. You might have somebody who details your car twice a month for $100, $150, right? You might have somebody that cuts your yard. All of these non-essential expenses are things that eBay and Amazon and other companies are reevaluating. They're cutting those costs out. And speaking of cutting those costs out, it makes sense to me because I preach this to you guys about running a lean company, running expense-free, running the least amount of expenses as possible, and only paying for expenses that actually make you money. For example, a list perfectly makes you money. a tax service like Mark II will save you thousands of dollars in taxes. That's a return on investment. It's profitable. Those make sense, right? But me paying for a storage unit, 3 storage units, with insurance over, close to $1,000 did not make sense because I had a way to bring it home. I liked not having everything in my garage, but I had to drive to the storage unit, pull all my orders to pack, bring them back, pack them, and then take them out. We don't have pickups. Everybody always asks, why don't you do USPS pickups? We don't have them here. Our neighborhood is stupid. Even after 3 years, we have mailbox bundles. The driver refuses to come because then everybody would schedule pickups and blah, blah, blah. I've had a war with them over this. But I had those 3 storage units, $1,000 a month. I cut them because that's $1,000 a month I didn't have to have. Storing stuff doesn't make me money. It costs money, right? It's not profitable. And if you look around, I've got everything stored in these, listed items. There is over 3,500 items, and I can get 5,000-6,000 items of clothing, remotes, and shoes, and some postcards and sports cards. In fact, I think all combined, I could probably get 8,000 to 10,000 in here once I clean off these last 3 shelves right there. That's all unlisted stuff. If it was all listed, put over on those shelves, and then I listed more to fill up all those shelves, and everything from there to there was listed, and I could put one more shelf like right in the middle here, then I think I could get 8,000 to 10,000 items, and I don't have to have that in a storage unit. 3 of my storage units, one was just full of unlisted, one was completely listed, and one was half-half. The one fully listed held 8,000 items. So I know I can get 8,000 in here, maybe 10. And then I didn't need the 2nd or 3rd storage unit really, because I have stuff stored here, like right in front of me. Look, I'll show you guys here. Let me pull my camera off. Bear with me while I pull the camera out of here. So I have plenty of inventory right here to work on, right? In addition to all of that unlisted inventory. So we have plenty of room. If I get to where we're overwhelmed and we have 8,000 to 10,000 listings active and the sales blossom even more, then yeah, I can go get 1 storage unit for $300 instead of 3 of them for $1,000 after the insurance and tax. And then it won't be so bad, right? Don't spend money unless you have to. And that's what these companies are really doing. Like, they're actually cutting costs, working lean, like I've preached to you guys to do. And that's where we get today's layoffs of 1,000 employees and cutting contracts with third-party contracts. Also, eBay announced that they want everybody to work from home tomorrow on Wednesday, so that they can give them the announcement over Zoom, and they can have those conversations in private and not at the office, which kind of makes sense to me. I feel like that's a little sympathetic from eBay. But on the flip side, like, it's a little weird. Like, hey, everybody go home, don't work from the office tomorrow, and we'll Zoom call every single person that gets laid off. Obviously, they wouldn't do that in a group call. They would do that one-on-one. So that sounds like a lot of work, 1,000 Zoom calls. That's pretty nutso. But that's the story from today. eBay laying down 1,000 people, laying off 1,000 people and cutting contracts. And what does that mean for you guys as sellers? Nothing. eBay's not going anywhere. eBay's not dying. Your fees aren't going to go up because eBay's cutting costs. If eBay was raising costs, I might be like, whoa, more fees. But they've already raised fees. And they just changed the fees a few months back, right, in the fall. It's not going to change much at all. In my opinion, nothing is really going to change. The only problem I see with this is customer support. Maybe the customer support isn't as good anymore because eBay gets rid of a bunch of customer support people. I don't know. That's my best guess. I don't know who's getting laid off. Maybe an eBay employee can chime in down below if they know either if they got laid off or if somebody they know got laid off. Is this affecting customer support? We'll have to wait and see. But that's the story out of today. eBay laying off almost 10% of their company. It's scary to think about. It's scary to think about all these companies doing it. But at the end of the day, I understand it. They're running lean. They're cutting expenses. And it's what I suggest that you guys do as well. Only pay for the services that will make you money and give you a return on the investment. My listing service does that. If you want to pay for it, great. If you don't, I understand, cutting expenses as well. But the one expense that I recommend you never, ever cut is your tax preparation and service. Get a CPA, guys. Don't ask Facebook groups for advice. Mark II has an amazing website. His name is Not Your Dad's CPA. He's a licensed CPA, reseller, and expert e-commerce accountant. His website is linked below. And until tomorrow, Thursday the 25th, that means you have a day, a little over a day. It's $100 off his CPA Tax Academy for resellers. It is especially targeting resellers. It teaches you everything you need to know about sales, expenses, deductions, saving money, And it literally saves people hundreds or thousands of dollars on their taxes that they otherwise would have either paid the IRS or not got back in a refund. So please give him a chance to earn your business. Check out his website. Take 1 minute, read through his website. You will understand what I'm talking about. I will link it below. And Mark's an amazing sponsor, an affiliate sponsor of this channel. He's awesome. He's the best. And if you give him a chance, you will not regret that return on your investment. That is one expense I recommend you don't cut. All right, as always, guys, thanks for watching the channel. I appreciate it. Give this video a thumbs up if you loved it, if you love the channel, if it helps you, if Mark 2 helps you. And while you're at it, subscribe so you don't miss future videos. And I'll see everyone next time.